as probably most of us, want to choose what kind of care that I receive. I tend to choose natural medicine. And I'm extremely concerned that under these laws, the medicine that I feel gives me excellent health and has kept me where I'm very comfortable with my lifestyle will be taken from me. And I just feel that we have to exert ourselves in the rights that we have as individuals for the kind of care that we choose to receive. And this is not acceptable, and I'm kind of wondering why we weren't able to have these kinds of presentations before this law was put into effect.
Right, it should have been. They promised that they were going to post all the laws online 72 hours before they got voted on, and as you know, it didn't happen. I love that you're getting control of, that you're in control of your health. Me too. I don't take any medicines. I try to exercise. I try to sort of watch my weight. I love that. That's how we all need to be. Really proactive.
Can you give me a reason why doctors would be for this? Because I have a group, I go to some cardiologists, and most of them are for Obama. And I asked my cardiologist, why are you? He couldn't really give me a good answer. I'd like to know, because I want to tell him some of this.
I think it's the doctors that they're choosing now. I mean, it seems to me, where I live a little more Norwalk and a little more western part of Connecticut, they all seem to be from New York City.
Kidney transplants in the U.S. now will not be on a waiting list for who's been waiting the longest, but it will be based on the person who's youngest, moving to the front of the line and getting the kidney.
And that goes against what the law for the last few years has been. You couldn't discriminate by things like age or disability and stuff. So that's.
And is it true? I heard this last year or sometime, but under actually, you know, Obama in the debate 2 nights ago said he liked the term Obamacare. So I think it's okay if we call it that.
If it was such a great law, you think Congress would be fighting the way to get in. And I wish they would get rid of Congress's private pension system, which is phenomenal. Put them in Social Security, and I wish they'd put them in Medicare, and then you could see some changes.
In 15 unelected officials who will make recommendations on cost cutting for Medicare. And they will have these in place by August of every year. And if Congress doesn't act on their recommendations or come up with alternatives for cost cutting, their recommendations become law. So they circumvent Congress in a kind of sneaky way, in my opinion. And
excuse me. Then when you go to fix it, instead of it being $200, it's $200,000.
Exactly.
And these same people, I have a pet example of all of this. When you buy a car, if you don't grease and oil it, if you don't do preventative maintenance, they will not oblige the guarantee.
Right.
This should be all the exact opposite. We should be forced into the mammograms, all the screenings up front, and say to a woman, if you don't get a breast exam in 3 years, we will not cover breast cancer because you could have prevented it. So this whole thing is backwards.
Right. So the docs are not usually pretty stupid, and they can go do a lot of other things. Just something to keep in mind. I always tease people, make sure you start learning Urdu and Swahili so you can talk to your new doctors. Yes?
I have a comment about the electronic records. My primary care physicians are changing over now, and very proudly, she handed me the paper with my records. I didn't know I had a hip replacement. And a very important thing, because I do take colonoscopy exams more than the average person, my mother died of complications of colon cancer. That was not on my records.
Wow.
So I would advise anybody whose doctor is changing over, get a copy and check it over and make sure everything on there is accurate. And also to the woman who said that she hasn't had any trouble yet. I have an 83-year-old friend whose doctor died, and it took her months to find a doctor that would accept Medicare. This is beginning to happen.
Get government out of the insurance business. We've already shown that they're not that good at estimating costs. When Congress has a 13% approval rating, why in the world do we want them running our health care? Really? So let's get the government out of the insurance business. Let's have health savings accounts for Medicare and Medicaid.
A very interesting side effect, and if we could only make our politicians realize that, is this suggestion will create jobs. Isn't that what they're all talking about?
Yes, that's a very good point. Sir?
Accountable care organization. What are the negatives that I should consider? I mean, I don't know what to do. I have it, I've had it. Do you know what the negative, is this?
Accountable care organizations was covered on the video, so I would probably suggest to you to go back to that particular video and watch that again, because she has more of that information than we're able to share right now. Sorry.
First, a disclosure. I'm a doctor for parasitology and microbiology. Secondly, I'm a physician, pathologist, board certified in anatomical and pathology, and I've attended law school and dental school, believe it or not.
Wow.
This is a very important piece of our legislature, and our legislators have let this go to what it is now. This is the first really serious threat to the United States as a constitutional republic. We cannot let this go. And just an aside, people come up to me and say, hey, you're a doctor, Warren. Well, what happens? What am I going to do if this goes through? I say, find a good veterinarian. Thank you.
That's interesting what you say, because